darling Fumi Nation, how are you? How are we? My name is Fumi Desalu-Vold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you're so very welcome indeed. Today's episode is the first episode of the Real Housewives of Lagos. I know some of you would have said, I've been waiting for this. I was too. I paid my subscription for Showmax. It was only after the fact that I found out that they are only airing in Nigeria. But you see, I love you, Fumi Nation, across the globe. You are fabulous. You said, Fumi, that should not stop you in any way, shape, or form. You're going to review this for us. I said, but how am I going to do that? You said, go on to TikTok. I said, say, what? That's what I'm doing. I'm going on to TikTok and the entire episode is there. So I was like, you know what? De misuna. How na de. Before I start, I beg, anytime where you feel you want to say something, make una chook mouth inside comment section. Let us get this place jumping and gisting. Well, you know what? Happy to be back. Happy to be back. Happy to see the ladies are back. Happy to see that we have a couple of new members also. Love, 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 love. So we're going to start with the first clipper loops, and we have Mariam. Mariam decides to invite Toyin for a little kind of catch-up, watch-up. She's upset about a couple of things Toyin said. To be honest, I don't remember what it was. But I will say this. If you are a friend of my enemy, then you're also my enemy. I think that was where Toyin was coming from. In the sense that when somebody offends you, it might not even be reasonable. It might not even make sense. You want to have your tribe support you in the blind fight, regardless. I understand, and I think that was where her emotion came from. And after she was done with it, she was done with it. Like, you know what? I think it was a sense where she was like, Mariam is talking to her. I'm going to be careful with Mariam too. Not necessarily that Mariam is a bad person or whatever, but in that moment and space, anybody talking to this sis cannot be talking to me. I got the pleasure of meeting Toyin during hiatus. That's what we call it in Cali, when you're not filming. And she came to London with her beautiful family, and she had a fantastic pop-up store, and you should have seen the line all the way down and back. She invited me and I said, honey, I will show up and show out. It was flawless. Now, I'm a big sister to all of you all, including Toyin. So I am not going to cherry pick, and I'm not going to have any favorite. If I feel that Toyin did something that wasn't quite copacetic, I'm going to call it out as that. Una hear me so? Alrighty. So Mariam came there now. Mariam vexed. And so Toyin said, you know, I don't remember. I don't argue with you. I'm sure I said it. But before we get into all of that, you didn't call me when I had my miscarriage. Laura that we had fight with on and off, she called me. But you that you're supposed to be my friend, you didn't holler at a sister. Of course, Mariam too were kind of thrown off to say, was that really a pregnancy? She really was kind of thrown off. Toyin was pregnant. I gave Toyin advice. I think it was the reunion where she really got emotional and heated up about a couple of things. Because Toyin announced her pregnancy in Dubai. I remember that much. And I said to Toyin, relax. Relax, 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 relax. As we get older, where pregnancies become more and more fragile, we gotta be careful. And so it broke my heart when I read it in social media. I reached out to her and she said yes. I know a lot of us have had miscarriages. I have had one. And it's very hurtful. It doesn't matter how many children you have. Somewhere, somehow, one will always be missing. Especially when you had planned to go through that journey. That one is missing. And you wonder what could have become of that child. Was it a boy? Was it a girl? And you always remember that, most especially, and I know for me, Kim K was pregnant with North, and Kate Middleton was pregnant with George. We were all pregnant December of 2012. And I had gone on for 3 months. You can imagine. So I can see where Toyin is not fighting. She's not fighting because she lost a war, and that was her pregnancy. It centers you, it humbles you, it redirects you, and it also tells you what's important and what's not. So I fed into that scene, and Mariam just said to herself, you know what, let me leave it. Let me leave it, let me move on. And so we did. And we moved on to whom? Chioma and Iyabo. Chioma, how are you, my darling? How are you, sugar? You know what I love about Chioma? Chioma will give you fashion. Chioma will give you fashion. And Chioma, before you even opened your mouth, you looked like a dream in that Valentino. Wowie, wowie, wowie. I lived for it, and I embrace everything you're going to give us this season. Girl, don't hesitate. Give it to us, give it to us, give it to us. I make the effort to try to look cute on the channel because while I'm talking about whatever, you want to be easy on the eyes. And Chioma was giving me that. And let me add to the fact that you've softened your makeup. Now I can see you. I don't only see the makeup, I see you. 10, 10, 10, 10. Continue with this all throughout the season. Moving along, Iyabo is there, and Iyabo and Chioma are talking about Toyin. Because like I told you, Toyin got emotional. Chioma, you're going to get there. It is hormones. She was pregnant at the time. She was very upset. You were very calm. And that really aggravated her all the more. And so I believe that was where Toyin was coming from. In the same space, Toyin had no right to come up to you in any kind of way, trying to put hands on you. Hell to the no. Absolutely not. And so Iyabo was there as a peacemaker to hear what Chioma had to say. And Chioma said, no. You know what? Make it stay by himself. Then I will stay by myself. Let her go on her own and I will go on my own. I don't know that kind of wahala. I did not know that our wahala reached that side. It was intense. It was intense. And Chioma said, I think that I'm going to bow out on this one. I don't want to be around Toyin. That's a little bit too much for me. And when I was standing up on the show, I was not standing up for that. Cut 2. Mariam now calls Laura. Laura said, I did where you leave me. I live for it. And she's at home. She's with her children. And so Mariam is telling her that, you know what, we got 1 or 2 things going on. And Laura is talking about she has a new collection. She's doing a makeup line. The line is going to be called Nude. She's got the clothing line from last season. And now she's expanding to come and do her nude collection of lips, which is fabulous. And she wants Mariam to help her with the PR here, there, and everywhere. And of course, they ask of Toyin. She says, I haven't seen Toyin. And Mariam says, well, you know, Laura and I are comme ci, comme ça. So she doesn't get the privilege of her knowing whether Toyin and I are not too close. Of which Laura too doesn't talk too much. But I was like, well, you know what? It's nice to see Laura smiling. And it's nice to see that, you know what? If we can't be close, we can still make that coin. That was what this conversation was about. The conversation was about making the coin. Let's still make this money. Boom, boom, boom. Then we go to Toyin. Toyin's about her business. And so she has a board meeting with all of her business heads. And they talk about how the expansion is going on and she wants to go global. Honey, I'm not mad at you. I want to go global too. Who doesn't want to go global? Who doesn't want your name to be spoken of in different language or different parts of the world? It really just was an introduction to the viewers to say, you know what? I'm about my business. This is what I'm about. I'm going to be passionate about this. So you know what? Pay attention. I got this going, that going, this going, that going. I've been here, there. I am on international news. Yes, she was. I saw it with my own eyes. And she was in Europe. Yep. And she was in America, flying back and forth. I saw it. Go right ahead, sis. I'm not mad at you. Okay. So now, what we meet one of our new castmates. And that, my darling, is Faith. Faith is a beautiful, tall Amazonian 6-footer. I loved her when she opened her mouth. She is so attractive to me in a way that I cannot put in words. She is very composed. And she has a beautiful son. I think his name is Nathan. I think. And she was raised by her grandmother. And she's a model and she's a fashionista. She's got a couple of treats and blings to her name. I loved her personality. I love the calmness of her. I'm very attracted to people that are just zen. She laughs, she enjoys herself, she's funny, and she can still be very, very zen and controlled. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you are healed on the inside, nothing can touch you on the outside. And this is going to play a big, huge part with Faith, as I saw further down in the episode. I love everything about her, apart from the size of her chest. I think it's too big. Maybe she went big because she's 6 foot. You don't have to. Reduce it down to a D and you will be copacetic. I'm going to call it like it is because I'm big auntie and I can say it like it is. The chest is way too big. Other than that, gorgeous. Check, 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 check. And so we are introduced to fabulous Faith, of whom I am in love with instantly. Personality, flawless. Then we meet Tanya, and she's got a beautiful daughter. She's a writer, she's an author. She has this beautiful wardrobe space with all of her shoes and her clothes. She's also very, very soft-spoken, and she could be Caroline's twin. I miss Caroline. I wish Caroline would come back. I really do. But we have Tanya, and let us see if Tanya will add some kind of spice to the whole shebang. As far as I am concerned, it's going to take some time, down a couple of episodes, for everything to unravel so that we can see where she's at. And I don't mind that at all, because I think it's always good to test the waters and see what you're walking into. Mariam this season is much more straightforward and she's much more confident in her space, because I do believe that it took some time for her to warm up in, because Mariam was one of the last cast members to be introduced last season. So I feel that she might have felt everybody has paired up. So she had to now have the task of becoming friends with everybody just so that she could kind of find her way. Mariam is coming in this time and she's holding no prisoners. And her thing is, it doesn't matter what you thought about me last season or what you got away with last season. Try me now. That was the attitude I got from Mariam. The only advice I'll give Mariam, because that was the advice I was giving to, catch your breath. Slow down when you're speaking also, so that people can understand what you're saying. And I have come to realize when you slow down your speech, it can be bone chilling. You see, if you speak fast, I don't know about talking about. They can't understand you to understand that you're upset. But if you catch your breath and you say, Toyin, you see, what you did the other day wasn't cool. I don't appreciate it. They'll be like, oh, she was mad. Oh, she was mad, because that's a kind of controlled anger. So just slow down your speech and go full force. You're right. You're right. You are absolutely right, Mariam. But we're not talking about you anymore right now. We're talking about Tanya. Tanya is very calm. She's like, glidey. Let us see. And Laura is telling her, be very careful. Beware of this person. Beware of them. Like them, but beware. Because Mariam has invited them to a de-stressing event party thing. And of which she invited Toyin. but Toyin couldn't make it at the last minute, or I think she forgot because she was Port Harcourt. You know, I told her she's chasing her coin, so she couldn't make it, but everybody else could. So from there now, Faith meets up with Princess. Princess is Iyabo's daughter, and they're supposed to do some kind of collaboration between two brands, of which Iyabo is not feeling. And from a business point of view, she's absolutely right. I have never seen Kris Jenner push any other brand but the 5,000 brands that belong to herself and her children. She's absolutely right. Business. It's just business. It's not personal. It's business. And so I don't know where Princess got off talking about, well, I want to collab. It could be a situation where the two of you have completely different demographic audience and customers, where Princess has the 20s and Faith has the 30s or the 40s, and so you want to collab so that you can cross profit. I can get the 20s, I can get the 30s and 40s. I can show you what I can do. I got stuff I can give you. If it's that situation, then the two of you benefit. But if there's nothing that Princess benefits from Faith, she should not do it. 110%. And Faith is trying to find her way through, of which I believe Faith will get to. But if Princess doesn't want to collab with you, or Mama Iyabo doesn't want her to collab with you, don't take it personally. It's business. Because when you get to a certain stage, you will be strategic in the way that you push your brand and you push your business. It's all about the coin. It's all about longevity. So it was quick in and out. She came to see what she was coming to see, and she was out of there. Faith goes to see who? She goes to see Dr. Romel for a Botox party, and he's talking about, you know what, we could do this, we could do that. She lets us know that, you know what, I haven't had Botox yet, but in the event that I do, he is the bobo to go. So if any of una, they watch this episode and you want Botox on the DL, and you want good Botox from somebody who is certified, naim bidato. In fact, on the side, me and doctor, we don't cut one check. Bring the customer, then you collect 10%. I don't see this thing with my eye, because he don't collect anything, and he talk say he never receive Botox. If you never receive Botox, Faith, what you know that they do there? Tell me. And you know, even make appointment. Well, when I say the Botox party, let us be looking, let us be looking at the Botox party and who is going to join the Botox party. So Mariam's event, the distress comes through. And who comes through? Iyabo. Iyabo comes with a too tight bustier. I didn't understand it because the boobs were literally spilling out. It wasn't a fabulous look. I wasn't living for it, to be honest. You know, I call it like it is. Anyway, all the girls show up one by one. So we have Tanya. Tanya comes in this muted kaftan-esque, you know, wraparound Grecian with a bandana. She looks absolutely fabulous. Then we have Choma, my beauty fashion queen. Choma, wherever you are, I want that necklace. That necklace was giving me Elizabeth Taylor from Cleopatra. You and I have the same dress. I wore that dress for my meet and greet. I wore sky blue, and I lived for it then, and I live for it now. Loved the ensemble. It was flawless. It was fabulous. I could go on and on. Continue to give me this fashion, mama. Continue to give me this fashion. As a matter of fact, Choma should be on the front row for all of the ateliers in Paris. Take her to Paris. Not necessarily New York, Paris. Paris, Milan. I'll meet you there, Choma. Don't worry. We'll be gisting. Flawless. And then what? We had fabulous Faith. Faith walked in and she had a tail for the gods. She came in bigger than life. I live for it. I live for it. You know, I'm extra. I promise you. Be overdressed than underdressed. God forbid, heaven on earth, because I meet Fumi Nation everywhere. I have a routine now. I'm dressed like this first thing in the morning because I'm meeting Fumi Nation, and I owe you the fabulosity. I actually owe you as a subscriber to be looking flawless every single time. And so what? Faith was looking fabulous. I don't think she was overdressed at all, because Choma was over there looking like sapphire and emeralds. Choma was overdressed, but the overdress was so fabulous that we embraced it and said, Choma, we are not worthy. So Faith has the right to come in with her long bridal train. She carried it. She's earned it to walk in. Needless to say, who was it that asked Who was it that asked? I forget. I think it was Mariam. Was it Mariam? Somebody asked Faith, so tell us about yourself. And she said, what do you want to know? Of which Iyabo said, stop there. Who invited herself? Iyabo, you're rude. Yes, that was rude. That was rude. That was disrespectful. That was unnecessary. I am a first season cast member that you have the effrontery, audacity, confidence, and the kahunas to talk to Faith like that. You forget that Faith is 6 foot. Did you not hear her when she said I'm a 6 foot Amazon? She will step on you. Did you see my socks? She will step on your head right there and then. Don't do that, Iyabo. Don't be over dramatic just because you want to capture a scene and we have to talk about you. Let's talk about you for all of the fabulous acting that you do, for your philanthropy, for you supporting for justice, and so on and so forth. That wasn't fabulous, but what I lived and loved for. Faith kept herself to the point that Iyabo stepped on her dress. She went one time, she came back time and stepped on her dress. It was not nice. It was not nice. It's a very nasty thing to do. I went to a party once. I wore a beautiful dress. And one of my haters took matches and set it on fire with me in it. And there was a guy who took a glass and just doused it. The dress was ruined, but it goes to show how mean some women can be. And we are mean to each other. I don't know what is so hard in you just embracing Faith and say, Faith, wow, what's your name? Where are you coming from? Nobody takes away your shine. Nobody can. And in you trying to dim somebody down will never bring you up. You said, are you trying to intimidate us? Because, Iyabo, you were intimidated. Faith don't know you from a can of paint. She just sat down there. And trust me when I tell you, girlfriend has her own challenges. Because the way she spoke about her son is her heart, is her love. You know that Faith has gone through things. And yet, you only judge her because she came with a dress and a train. How small-minded are you, Iyabo? How small? How terribly, terribly insecure are you to have done that to another human being as huge and as successful and as big as you are? And Iyabo, I love you. I follow you on Instagram. And I think you do wonderful things. But I will call everybody out in this season as it is. I'm holding no prisoners. That was uncalled for. So yes, my darling, that was what? That was episode 1, baby. That was episode 1. Make una chook mouth for comment section if I missed anything. But you know, that was the gist of it. You know, I've talked too much in this episode already. And I already know that episode 2 is out. Let me know if you want more. I live for you, baby. Mwah! I'll see you sooner than later.